The great council of the galaxy gathered inside a shining hall that floated in the middle of space. The chamber was bigger than any city on Earth, with walls of crystal and light beams crossing the sky above. Thousands of alien leaders sat in their seats, glowing with pride, strength, and arrogance. In the center of the hall stood a small group of humans. Compared to the tall, colorful, and advanced aliens around them, they looked plain. Their clothes were simple. Their faces looked calm but hard. Their leader, Admiral Stone, stood at the front with his hands behind his back. His gray eyes studied the chamber without fear. The council was not silent. Laughter rolled across the hall, sharp and echoing. "They call those ships a fleet," shouted one alien delegate, a creature with golden horns. "More like flying graves," another sneered, its many eyes blinking in mockery. "Humans keep rusting metal in orbit and call it tradition," a third added, causing a wave of laughter to shake the walls. Above them, a hologram showed Earth's so-called fleet. The ships were old, dark, and scarred by time. They floated around Earth like silent statues. Their hulls carried designs from centuries past. The aliens had warships twice as fast, weapons 10 times as strong, and shields that could bend suns. To them, humanity's relic fleet was nothing but a joke. Admiral Stone did not flinch. He did not rise to answer their laughter. He simply stood tall, his eyes locked on the hologram of the old warships. One alien, a tall figure with silver feathers, leaned forward. "Admiral Stone," it said, its voice carrying across the chamber. "Why does your race hold on to these useless things? Are they toys? Decorations? Do you hope to scare children with ghost ships?" The hall burst into more laughter. Stone finally spoke. His voice was calm, deep, and steady. "We hold on to them because we remember. Because one day memory becomes strength." The aliens laughed louder, shaking their heads. To them, memory was nothing compared to technology. They saw humans as children clinging to broken toys, but not all were laughing. At the far edge of the chamber, a smaller group of alien observers watched quietly. They had heard rumors. Whispers spread across the rim worlds that humanity had never truly abandoned those ships, that Earth did not keep them as museum pieces, but as something else. The observers said nothing, but their eyes narrowed as they studied Admiral Stone. The laughter went on until the leader of the council raised a clawed hand. Silence fell. The leader was a massive being made of living crystal, glowing faintly. Its voice was like thunder through glass. "Humans," it said, "you sit among us only by mercy. You are young, weak, and far behind the rest of the galaxy. You speak of memory. You speak of strength. Yet you bring only broken machines from forgotten centuries." Stone did not reply. He knew words could not change the pride of empires. The leader's crystal face turned to the others. "Very well. Let humans keep their relics. When true war arrives, they will be swept aside like dust." A ripple of agreement moved through the chamber. The aliens believed what they saw. They believed that humanity had nothing to offer. But deep in his heart, Stone smiled. When the council ended, the humans returned to their ship. A small diplomatic craft compared to the towering alien vessels docked nearby. The corridors of the ship were narrow, the lights dim. Yet the crew walked with quiet pride. One officer, a young woman named Clark, finally broke the silence. "Admiral, how long will we let them laugh at us?" she asked. "As long as it takes," Stone answered. "Their laughter is a shield for us. They believe we are weak. That belief will be their mistake." Clark frowned. "But the fleet, the relic fleet, no one outside Earth has seen what it truly is. Some of our own people don't even know." Stone's eyes hardened. "And that is the way it must remain, until the day comes." Far above Earth, the relic fleet drifted in silence. Hundreds of ships floated in perfect formation, like old guardians standing watch. Some were massive battleships with scars from forgotten wars. Others were smaller, agile destroyers. Their hulls bore marks of ancient weapons, yet no rust touched them. From the outside, they looked abandoned. Their lights were dim. Their weapons looked sealed. Their engines seemed cold. Any alien observer would say they were dead machines. But inside their cores, hidden systems still pulsed. Silent reactors waited, their power dormant but not gone. Deep within the command decks, artificial minds rested like sleeping giants. The relic fleet was not dead. It was waiting. Generations ago, when Earth first fought for survival against invading fleets, humanity built these warships. They poured their blood, sweat, and will into them. The ships carried weapons no alien could understand, forged from human creativity and desperation. When the wars ended, humanity did not destroy them. Instead, they placed them in orbit, letting the galaxy believe they were relics. Every human child grew up hearing stories of the fleet. To outsiders, they were myths. To humans, they were guardians, sleeping above the world like silent angels of steel. And Admiral Stone knew the truth. They were not just old ships. They were the heart of humanity's defense, waiting for the moment they would rise again. Back in the council chamber, laughter still echoed in the memories of alien leaders. They did not see the danger. They did not notice the fire in the humans' eyes. For now, the galaxy laughed at Earth's relic fleet. For now, humanity bore the insults in silence. But one day the laughter would end, and when that day came, the stars themselves would tremble at the roar of forgotten steel. The stars of the outer rim burned faintly, far from the center of the galaxy. Many believed the rim to be quiet and unimportant, a place of poor colonies and forgotten stations. But rumors spread like fire. Something dark was moving there. Ships that once sent trade signals were gone. Stations stopped replying to messages. Small worlds reported fleets of unknown design sweeping across their skies, taking everything, leaving silence behind. The alien council ignored the warnings at first. They believed no one dared to challenge their power. Yet, as more reports arrived, even the proudest empires began to feel uneasy. The name whispered across the stars was simple: the Warlord of the Rim. This warlord was not from the great powers. He came from the shadows, leading a force built from stolen ships, enslaved crews, and strange weapons that no one had seen before. His fleet grew like a storm. He crushed resistances, erased colonies, and moved ever closer to the heart of the galaxy. Inside the Crystal Council Hall, the leaders met again. Their faces glowed with concern this time. The laughter that once filled the chamber was weaker, thinner. The leader of the council raised its shining arms. The warlord is moving toward our borders. He has already taken 3 systems belonging to the Creel Empire. His ships are many. His soldiers are fierce. He does not stop. Whispers filled the chamber. The Creel delegate, a tall creature with horns, slammed its fist on the table. He destroyed my people's worlds in days. Our fleets fell before his strange weapons. We cannot stop him alone. Other delegates shouted. Some demanded immediate unity. Others argued that the Creel Empire had been weak and deserved its fate. Then one delegate laughed bitterly and pointed toward the humans. Why not send them? They claim they have a fleet. Let them prove it. Let them fight the warlord. The chamber erupted in voices, some agreeing, some mocking. Soon the idea spread like a current through water. Yes, let the humans face him, shouted one. They hold their relics so dearly. Perhaps they can use them as shields. If they fail, no loss to the council. Admiral Stone and the human envoys stood silently, surrounded by sneers. Finally, the crystal leader turned to Stone. Humanity, will you take this task? Will you rise against the warlord? Stone's voice was calm. Yes, humanity will face him. The aliens burst into mocking laughter again. They are serious. This will be amusing. Relics against the storm. Stone did not argue. He bowed his head once and led his people out of the chamber. Back aboard the human diplomatic ship, silence filled the command room. Clark, the young officer, slammed her hand on the table. They set us up. They want us to fight and die for their amusement. Admiral Stone's eyes were cold but steady. Yes, they expect us to fail. That is why we will not. Another officer, Lieutenant Park, frowned. But sir, we don't have the numbers. The warlord's fleet is vast. Even if we wake the relics, can they match the storm? Stone walked to the window, staring at the stars. You forget what those ships truly are. They are not relics. They are humanity's shield, built for times just like this. While the galaxy built weapons for show, we built them for survival. Survival is in our blood. We will awaken the fleet. His words carried through the room like steel. The officers straightened. Fear still lingered, but it was mixed with pride. Above Earth, the relic fleet waited in silence. Now orders spread like lightning across the system. Crews were called from every continent. Engineers boarded the ships that had been asleep for centuries. The first time a ship's lights flickered alive, the world watched in awe. The great battleship Iron Will lit its engines, glowing brighter than any alien ship nearby. Its hull, once thought dead, pulsed with power. News spread across Earth like fire. The relic fleet is awakening. Children pointed at the sky. Old veterans saluted. Scientists cheered as systems long hidden came back to life. The people of Earth, once mocked by the galaxy, now saw the truth. Their guardians had returned. From orbit, Admiral Stone watched the awakening. His heart was steady, but his eyes burned with quiet fire. Clark stood beside him, unable to look away. "They're beautiful," she whispered. "They're not beautiful," Stone replied softly. "They're terrible, and that is why we need them." One by one, ships came alive. Steel Lance, Resolute, Guardian of Dawn, Vigilant. Each ship carried history. Each carried the memory of battles fought long before the galaxy cared about humans. Inside their cores, ancient weapons hummed. Cannons that bent energy, projectors that could blind stars, and shields that twisted space itself, all sleeping until now. News of the awakening spread beyond Earth. Alien observers watched in disbelief. Their laughter began to fade. "Impossible," whispered a delegate, staring at the reports. "Those ships should not work." "They are old designs," another argued. "They cannot stand against modern fleets." But still unease grew. The humans were not rushing, not panicking. They moved with purpose, as if everything had been prepared long ago. The warlord's scouts also heard the news. They reported back to their master. The warlord laughed, a sound like thunder. "Let them come. Let their ghosts rise. I will crush their relics and burn their world. The galaxy will see their weakness." Admiral Stone called his officers into the command room of the Iron Will. The air smelled of new energy, as if the ship itself breathed again. "Listen well," Stone said. "The galaxy believes these are relics. They do not know the truth. We will not show all our strength at once. We will strike when the time is right. Until then, silence is our ally." Clark raised her hand. "Admiral, if we succeed, what then? Will the Council respect us?" Stone's face was unreadable. "Respect is not given. It is taken. If we win, they will have no choice." The officers nodded. The fate of Earth rested on them, but none looked away. As the relic fleet prepared, Earth's skies glowed brighter each night. The people gathered to watch their guardians awaken. No more were they museum pieces. No more were they shadows of history. The laughter of the galaxy echoed faintly in the distance. But humanity no longer cared. For the first time in centuries, the warships of Earth roared back to life, and soon they would face the storm. The darkness of space stretched endless, dotted by stars that burned like distant fires. For many cycles, the human relic fleet had drifted silent above Earth, seen only as shadow. Now, for the first time in centuries, its engines flared with light. One by one, the giants moved. The battleship Iron Will led the formation, its long hull glowing with lines of blue energy. Behind it came Resolute, Guardian of Dawn, Steel Lance, and dozens more. Together they moved like wolves leaving their den, quiet but unstoppable. From Earth, millions watched the sky. Bright trails cut across the heavens as the ships prepared for war. Children cheered. Veterans saluted. Farmers, workers, and scientists all stood together, eyes fixed on the stars. Humanity was no longer a weak voice in the council. Humanity was moving as one. Inside the command deck of the Iron Will, Admiral Stone stood tall, surrounded by his officers. The air buzzed with energy from systems that had been asleep for generations. "All ships report readiness," Clark said, her voice steady though her hands shook slightly. "Engines at full power. Shields stable. Weapons charged." "Good," Stone replied. His gray eyes studied the fleet's formation. "Today the galaxy will see that humans do not forget. Signal the fleet, we depart." Lights blinked across the control screens. The relic fleet began its jump into the rim systems where the warlord's scouts had last been sighted. Far across the void, the warlord's fleet gathered. His ships were sharp and jagged, built from stolen parts of conquered empires. Their hulls burned with crimson light. Their weapons were crude but powerful, designed to overwhelm with numbers and fear. The warlord himself sat on a throne of metal inside his flagship, the Blood Fang. His voice was like iron scraping stone. "The humans come," he growled. "Good. Let the galaxy watch as I crush their relics into dust. Their world will burn and their memory will end." His commanders roared in approval. For them, victory was already certain. When the relic fleet arrived at the edge of the rim system, silence ruled the stars. Debris floated from destroyed stations, silent witnesses to the warlord's passage. Then sensors lit up. "Enemy contacts," Park reported. "Dozens of ships. Closing fast." Clark's eyes widened as she studied the data. Their numbers, they outmatch us 3-1. The bridge crew grew tense, but Stone's voice remained calm. Numbers are not everything. Signal the fleet. Prepare for first engagement. The old warships shifted into a diamond formation. Their engines roared brighter, filling the void with a light that could be seen for worlds away. The enemy ships came first like a wave, red lights blazing, weapons firing. Beams of energy cut through the dark, heading straight for the human line. The Relic fleet answered. From Iron Will's side unfolded cannons that had not fired in centuries. Blue fire streaked across the void, meeting the enemy head-on. The Resolute released a storm of torpedoes, each one splitting into smaller weapons that hunted the enemy ships like predators. The first clash shook the system. Alien watchers, hidden in distant probes, gasped as they saw the truth. The Relic fleet was not old. It was alive. Enemy ships exploded in bursts of flame, their wreckage scattering across the stars. For every human ship, 5 enemy vessels fell. But the warlord's fleet pressed harder. More ships arrived, filling the space with fire. They circled, trying to trap the Relic fleet in a storm of weapons, shields dropping on Guardian of Dawn. Clark warned. Hold formation, Stone ordered. Bring steel lance to cover their flank. The Relic ships moved like dancers, shifting positions with precision. Their crews, trained for this moment for years in secret, fought with discipline no enemy expected. Then the Relic fleet revealed more. From the Resolute's hull unfolded strange panels, glowing with golden light. A wave of energy spread outward, bending enemy fire away as if the very fabric of space had turned. Beams that would have struck human ships curved off harmlessly into the void. The enemy commanders shouted in rage. Their weapons, which had destroyed whole systems, were useless. Admiral Stone's voice cut through the tension. Now, show them the storm. The Iron Will's central cannon came alive. It glowed brighter and brighter until it was a sun of its own. Then it fired. A single beam tore across space, slicing through 3 enemy ships in a line. The blast lit the system for seconds, brighter than any star. The warlord's fleet hesitated. Fear spread. The laughter of the galaxy was gone. In its place was silence and shock. The battle raged for hours. Enemy ships swarmed, but the Relic fleet cut them down with every strike. Old weapons once mocked proved sharper than anything the galaxy had seen in centuries. Clark gripped her console, sweat on her brow. Admiral, enemy numbers are thinning. They're retreating. Stone's eyes narrowed. No, they're regrouping. This was only the first wave, he was right. From the darkness, a massive shadow emerged. The Bloodfang, the warlord's flagship. It dwarfed the other ships, its hull bristling with weapons, its engines blazing crimson. The warlord's voice echoed across the comms, broadcast to all. Humans, you think your old ghost can stop me? I will tear them apart. I will burn your world and scatter your bones. His fleet roared forward again, stronger than before. Inside the Iron Will, the crew felt the weight of the moment. Fear pressed on them, but Stone's presence was steady. Listen to me, he said. This is not the end. This is the beginning. We are not fighting only for Earth. We are fighting for every world that believes humanity is weak. Today we show them wrong. The crew straightened, their fear replaced by fire. Signal the fleet, Stone ordered. All ships prepare for the next strike. The Relics will roar again. The Relic fleet turned its formation, facing the massive flagship and its escorts. Their engines blazed, their weapons charged. Across the galaxy, hidden watchers saw the sight and held their breath. The galaxy had mocked the humans for their relics. They had laughed at old steel and forgotten designs. Now no one laughed. The Relic fleet, guardians of Earth, was alive, and their roar shook the stars. The void stretched endlessly, a black canvas lit only by the scattered fires of battle. The human Relic fleet had pushed deep into the rim systems, and now, before them, lay the full force of the warlord's armada. Hundreds of ships, jagged and menacing, formed a wall across the stars, their engines burning crimson, their weapons ready to destroy anything in sight. Admiral Stone stood on the bridge of the Iron Will, watching the enemy formation grow. His eyes were sharp, unblinking, as if he could see every detail of the warlord's fleet in his mind. They are larger than expected, Clark said quietly, her fingers flying across her console. Even with the Relic fleet, they could overwhelm us if we are not careful. Stone turned slowly, his expression calm but resolute. They underestimate us. That is our advantage. We do not fight like them. We fight like humans, relentless, precise, and unpredictable. Prepare the fleet. It is time to show the galaxy the truth of our strength. Across the void, the warlord's flagship Bloodfang blazed like a red sun. From its hull came countless warships circling outward like a storm. Its weapons glimmered with deadly energy, the kind that had destroyed whole worlds. Yet even as the armada advanced, there was hesitation. Scouts reported human ships moving in patterns no one had anticipated. "Commander," the warlord barked to his officer, "these humans, their formations are not random. They have strategy, coordination. How is this possible? They should be weak. They should be frightened." The officer stammered, fear and awe mixing in his many eyes. I do not know, my lord. But they fight as if they were born for this moment." The warlord roared in frustration, pounding the console. "Then we will break them. Focus all fire on the front line. Tear them apart!" The relic fleet did not hesitate. From Iron Will to Resolute, from Steel Lance to Guardian of Dawn, every ship shifted in perfect formation. Their engines blazed, lighting the darkness. Weapons that had slept for centuries came alive, spreading beams of energy across the void. The first wave of attacks cut through the enemy lines like lightning. Small destroyers and frigates of the warlord's fleet were shredded in seconds. Ancient cannons, once mocked as relics, fired with precision beyond any modern design. Torpedoes split into multiple warheads, striking clusters of enemy ships at once. Shields bent and twisted enemy beams away, deflecting attacks that would have destroyed ordinary vessels. The warlord's officers shouted in alarm. "They are stronger than expected. Our weapons. They are useless." But Stone's voice remained calm over the fleet's comms. "Hold formation. Focus on their centers. Do not let panic guide you. Remember why you fight. Humanity is watching." The battle raged across the stars. Explosions lit the void, bright as small suns. Debris floated like glitter in the darkness. Human ships moved with deadly precision, countering every attack, predicting the enemy's next move. Clark stared at her screen, seeing enemy ships explode one after another. "Admiral, they're trying to surround us. If they succeed, it could be the end." Stone's eyes narrowed. "Then we change the battlefield. Signal the fleet. Unleash the hidden weapons." Panels on every ship opened. Long-forgotten cannons, energy projectors, and plasma arrays hummed to life. A golden light spread outward, a ripple that bent enemy attacks away. Beams of fire that had never missed suddenly curved harmlessly into empty space. The enemy's advantage faded. The warlord's flagship fired everything it had, but the relic fleet moved as one. Ancient shields absorbed the blasts. Counterfire shredded escort ships. The battle's tide began to turn. For the first time, the warlord felt fear. The humans did not fight like those he had conquered before. They were relentless, using every advantage, every secret, every hidden power. He realized that these ships, once thought useless, were designed not for show, but for survival and domination. He bellowed to his fleet, "Do not falter. Do not retreat. Crush them!" But panic had already spread among his officers. Dozens of ships had been destroyed in minutes. Others hesitated, unsure whether to advance or flee. The humans moved faster, smarter, stronger than any enemy expected. From the Iron Will, Stone watched the enemy falter. "Now," he ordered. "All ships push forward. Strike the heart," the fleet roared. Every weapon fired. The relic fleet advanced as one, overwhelming enemy defenses. Explosions rippled across the armada, breaking formations, scattering ships, and forcing retreat. The humans pressed the attack with relentless precision. The warlord's flagship took a direct hit from Iron Will's central cannon. Its hull shuddered under the blast. Alarms screamed. Panels melted. The enemy flagship reeled in surprise. Stone did not hesitate. "Prepare boarding teams," he commanded. "If they cannot fight, we take the fight to them." Small attack crafts launched from every human ship. Pilots, trained in secret for decades, guided their craft through the chaos. They reached the flagship, disabling weapons, sabotaging engines, and creating confusion. Across the fleet, the warlord's armada began to crumble. The humans had turned what should have been a defeat into a decisive strike. Ships that had once seemed invincible were now burning husks drifting through the void. Clark's voice broke through the comms, almost trembling with awe. "Admiral, they're falling apart. The warlord's fleet. It's breaking." Stone remained focused. "Do not celebrate yet. This is only the beginning. But we are winning the battle. And in winning, we show the galaxy what humans are capable of." Even as the relic fleet pressed forward, they moved with care, minimizing civilian or neutral casualties. Humanity's honor guided every move, showing strength without cruelty. Finally, after hours of relentless combat, the warlord's flagship collapsed under concentrated fire. His remaining fleet, leaderless and panicked, scattered into the void. Energy flares marked their retreat, leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. The relic fleet, though damaged, stood victorious. The stars around the battle zone were lit with fires from fallen ships, yet humanity's warships remained intact. Their engines hummed, their weapons still ready. Stone looked out at the aftermath, his expression calm but resolute. "We have won this battle," he said softly. "But the war is not over. Others will come, thinking they can challenge us. And when they do, they will learn what we have already shown today. Humanity does not falter. Humanity does not surrender. Humanity endures." Clark nodded, tears in her eyes. "They laughed at us, and now they will never laugh again." Stone's gaze shifted toward the stars, toward the rest of the galaxy. "No," he said quietly. "They will respect us, or they will fear us, and that is the difference between those who survive and those who vanish into history." The relic fleet regrouped. Their engines glowed softly in the darkness, their weapons still charged, their crews ready for the next fight. Across the galaxy, hidden observers whispered in awe. The humans had turned a near-impossible situation into victory. They had shown strength that no alien race could ignore. For centuries, the relic fleet had waited silently above Earth. Now, they had awakened, roaring through the stars with fire and steel. The galaxy had laughed at humanity once. That laughter was gone, and from the ashes of battle, the legend of the relic fleet began to spread. The remnants of the warlord's fleet scattered across the void, fleeing in confusion. But humanity did not pause. The relic fleet moved as one, calm and precise, pursuing the enemy only when necessary. They had won the battle, but the warlord remained alive, hidden somewhere in the darkness, planning to strike again. Admiral Stone stood on the bridge of the Iron Will, watching the stars for signs of the enemy. His officers were tired but focused. Every ship had sustained damage, but none had fallen completely. For humans, this was more than victory. It was proof that even old steel, when guided by courage and skill, could overcome any challenge. Clark turned to Stone. "Admiral, they're running. Should we follow? Finish this?" Stone shook his head. "No, let them live for now. The galaxy must see the consequences of underestimating us. Let this victory speak louder than our weapons. Today we earned respect. Tomorrow we will defend it." Across the galaxy, reports of the battle spread quickly. Worlds that had once mocked Earth now paused in awe. Delegates of the Alien Council sent messages of astonishment. Observers whispered of human ships that moved with intelligence and power unseen for centuries. "They did not just fight," one council member said quietly. "They conquered the impossible. They turned relics into a weapon no one could match." Even the smallest races, previously ignored by the great empires, looked to Earth with new admiration. Humanity's name was no longer laughed at. It was spoken with reverence. Back on Earth, celebrations were quiet but meaningful. People gathered to watch the relic fleet return from the rim systems. Lights streaked across the sky as ships glided back into orbit. Citizens cheered, saluted, and wept with pride. The relic fleet, once forgotten, had reminded the galaxy and themselves that Earth would not bow to mockery. Admiral Stone walked across the deck of the Iron Will, looking at the crew. Each face bore signs of fatigue, but also pride. "You have done more than fight," he said. "You have shown the galaxy that humanity cannot be ignored. You have turned relics into legend. Remember this day, for it will define the future of our race." Clark stepped forward, her eyes bright. "Admiral, do you think the Council will ever respect us now?" Stone smiled faintly. "Respect is not given. It is earned. And today we earned it with fire, steel, and courage. They will remember that humanity is not a weak child of the stars. We are guardians. We are survivors. We are humans." The warlord, now hidden in a distant system, watched reports of his defeated armada. Rage and fear twisted his face. "Impossible," he growled. "How could they defeat me? My ships, my weapons, everything, and yet they won?" His officers, beaten and demoralized, stayed silent. Even he could not deny it. Humanity had risen above all expectations. The relic fleet had not only survived, they had triumphed. From that moment, the warlord knew he could not win a direct fight with Earth. Humanity was no longer a minor race. They were a power the galaxy had to reckon with. The Relic fleet returned to Earth orbit, but they did not stay idle. Repairs began immediately, and hidden systems were tested and improved. Ships that had been thought old now carried the most advanced strategies of human engineers and commanders. Earth's people came to the fleet, celebrating the guardians who had defended their home in the galaxy. Children touched the hulls, feeling history and strength beneath their hands. Scientists marveled at technologies once considered lost. Veterans saluted, proud that their ancestors' work had not been wasted. Even the alien observers sent envoys. They came not with laughter, but with cautious respect. Humans, one said, your fleet, your courage, it is greater than we imagined. We underestimated you. That was our mistake. Stone nodded, acknowledging the words without arrogance. Humanity did not need praise. They needed the galaxy to know that they could never be taken lightly. Months passed. Systems once threatened by the warlord began rebuilding, aided by humans and allies who had witnessed the fleet's power. Earth became a beacon, a symbol of strength and resilience. The Relic fleet remained in orbit, no longer silent. They patrolled quietly, their presence a warning. Humanity's guardians were awake, and they would defend the galaxy if needed. Stories of the fleet spread across stars and worlds. Children in distant colonies spoke of the humans who had awakened the forgotten ships and defeated a force no one thought they could. Scholars wrote of the strategies used, of the precision, of the courage that turned history into legend. The galaxy had learned a lesson. To mock humanity was to risk destruction. To underestimate them was to invite defeat. Admiral Stone watched the sun rise over Earth, its light reflecting off the hulls of the Relic fleet. Clark and Lieutenant Park joined him, silent for a moment, feeling the weight of everything they had achieved. Stone finally spoke. We have won more than a battle. We have shown that humanity, even when doubted, can rise to any challenge. The Relics were never just ships. They were a promise, proof that we endure, that we protect, that we will never bow to arrogance. Clark smiled. Do you think the galaxy will ever forget this day? Stone shook his head. No, and let them remember. Let them see that humanity is not to be mocked, not to be ignored. One day, if the galaxy needs us again, we will be ready. And the Relics will roar once more. Far beyond Earth, alien councils debated. The laughter that once echoed across the stars was gone. In its place was respect, cautious and real. They understood now that humans were not weak, that the Relic fleet was more than old ships. It was the heart of a people who refused to be defeated. The warlord, now exiled and weakened, knew the truth as well. He had underestimated humans. He had mocked their relics. He had been wrong. The galaxy had learned that humans fought not only with technology but with courage, strategy, and determination. That alone made them a force unlike any other. And so the Relic fleet returned to silent vigil above Earth, not as forgotten machines, not as toys for the Council to mock. They were guardians. They were legends. They were proof that humanity, when challenged, could rise above all doubt and roar across the stars. The galaxy had once laughed at humanity. Now it could only watch in awe, and the humans, standing tall on their home world and aboard their awakened fleet, knew one simple truth. They would never be mocked again.